So our story of Joseph starts out with him being the favorite brother and everything going well, and then it didn't end so well, did it? His brothers got so jealous and had so much hate towards him that they plotted to kill him. They even plotted to sell him to Egypt, which is where we're going to pick up our story next week. Sounds kind of familiar, doesn't it? Very interesting that Jacob's son is going through what Jacob went through with his brother Esau. A little different, but very similar. So today, from today's lesson, I want you to think of a couple of things. We know that God had not left Jacob. We know that God was still with him, even though this was a very difficult time in his life. When we struggle with things in our lives, it's always important for us to remember that too, that God is always with us. And unfortunately, in the world that we live in, there's a lot of bad people. There's sin. Remember, we've talked about sin is anything that we say, think, or do that does not please God. And because there's sin in this world, there's going to be hurt and there's going to be disappointment. It's just part of life. And so Joseph found himself in this really sticky situation. But that's not the end of the story. We're going to finish it over the next 2 weeks. As I said, it's 3 different parts. Our verse that I want you to focus on this week, I'll move this back so you can hopefully see it. See the coat of many colors? It's from Genesis 39:2. And it says, "And the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man. And he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian." Now we're going to learn more about that next week as we learn about him going into Egypt and how God used him in Egypt. Because remember, this was part of God's plan. You know, in Joseph's eyes, it may have not been part of his plan, but all along it was part of God's plan. So I hope you guys are doing well. Remember, please send in your verses. Have your mom and dad video you saying your verses so you can get credit. I'm keeping track of how many prizes you're going to be able to get. 3 more weeks of verses, and then that's it. So I will be putting a cutoff date on the verses so you can participate in the surprise. So don't forget to work on those. See you later.